Living through poverty can be a terrifying situation, and sometimes it is closer than we think. While in high school, many of my friends' families struggled with poverty without my knowledge. Poverty is something that is dangerous because it affects not only those living through it, but also the community surrounding it. Growing up in Fairbanks, Texas, I have seen the impact that poverty can have on a town. With half of the residents living below the poverty line, it is important that we all work together to solve this problem. During our time together, I will be talking about the significance of poverty in Fairbanks, the harm that it can have, and a possible solution to the problem. Poverty has affected this town for generations. In fact, according to infoplease.com, updated in 2015, the average income for someone in the state of Texas in the year 2000 was $27,752. But for Fairbanks, Texas, according to citydata.com, updated in 2012, the average income was $18,486. So it's a great difference between how much they were making. And to this day, according to pdscities.com, updated in 2013, 50.61% of the residents in Fairbanks, Texas are living below the poverty line. So obviously poverty is something that continues to be a problem in this town. There are many reasons why this is still an issue, different barriers that are hurting people and keeping them in poverty. But two of the main barriers have to do with family and education, which are extremely closely tied to each other. According to the article, Racial Stratification, Social Consciousness, and the Education of Mexican Americans in Fairbanks, Texas, a socio-historical case study by Richard Verdugo, written in 2008 in the Spaces for Differences and Interdisciplinary Journal, stated that parents in Fairbanks were asked how they viewed their participation in their child's schools and what they would like to see as their role as parents. Some parents had no idea whatsoever what their participation in school should be, and others said that there was nothing they could do. Parents are not involved in the education of their children, and this is because they either do not understand how they should be involved, or they do not think they should be involved at all. They don't see that there is any importance in that. But their involvement is extremely important. According to the article, School Dropouts, Poverty and Consequences for Society by David L. Patrick Jr., written in the Insights to a Changing World Journal in 2014, parents need to endorse education and are the leaders of literacy and learning at home. If these critical opportunities are missed, then children will not understand the importance and meaning of an education. So obviously, children learn about how important education is at home first. And if they don't get that education there, they often won't learn that anywhere else. Even though at the schools, they are encouraged to try to continue their education past high school or to see how important education is and what it can do for them, many of them do not see the importance in that because they did not learn that at home and they do not see that in their parents. So they don't try to continue doing school. And that is seen with the educational barriers. According to citydata.com in 2012, 50.2% of the residents in Fairbanks, Texas said that they had less than a high school level of education, and only 2.4% reported that they had a bachelor's degree. So obviously there's a heavy impact because of the involvement that parents do not have with their children. And since that involvement isn't there, that impact is going to continue to be a problem until parents begin to see how important education truly is in defeating poverty. So now that we've talked about how heavily poverty weighs on this community, we can see about the other harmful impacts that it can have. One of the main harmful impacts that it will have to those living in poverty, according to poverties.org, updated in 2013, is that it's very highly associated with drug and alcohol abuse. And though people do not know the reasons why, it is still something that is just extremely heavily associated with it. So most people who are living through poverty are also struggling with drug and alcohol abuse problems. And they also live shorter and less healthy lives. Since those who are struggling through poverty often do not have the right shelter or clothing or food, they struggle with being able to be healthy and lead healthy lives, and therefore end up leading shorter lives than those who are living with normal income and average means. And also, according to poverties.org, updated in 2013, it can start to affect the community because it can cause social unrest. When people who are struggling in poverty see others who aren't struggling, they sometimes don't understand how they ended up in their situation and why they can't get out and why others don't seem to have the same problems. And so this means that they will see a lot of unfairness and injustice, and they want to they want to try to fix that, and sometimes they don't know how, which causes a lot of social unrest and can cause problems for those who are just living in the community, though they may not be living in poverty. So obviously poverty is something that is harmful for everybody, not just those who are living through it. So now that we've seen how harmful it is, we can try to look at a way to stop it. I would propose that a plan for defeating poverty would be to use education. Education is something that helps everybody in a very good way, and also with poverty, although it would not be something that fixed the problem immediately, it would be something that really had an impact on the problem in the long run and could really start helping change the situation in Fabens. Educators and other faculty members should get together to set up a meeting, and in this meeting parents would be able to learn about the importance of education. But one of the other things that should be involved in this meeting is the fact that they'll be learning more than just facts and statistics about the importance of education. They'll be hearing stories from people who had led similar lives to their own and had very similar backgrounds, and yet still were able to find a way out of poverty through education. I believe that by teaching parents this and by having them understand how important education is, they can go home and begin to implement those same thoughts and ideas in the lives of their children and their children's education. By providing this, it will really push parents to know better and to want more for their kids in education. Alicia Valenzuela, who has taught in the district in both the middle and elementary schools, stated that in this meeting, parents would be able to hear success stories from those who lived in situations extremely similar to theirs. If they can see the difference education has made in their lives, they may begin to try and push their own children to pursue education. So obviously this is something that would be very helpful to these parents and their children, because though we teach children at school how important it is to pursue education, if they're not hearing that at home, it's not going to have an impact. And this would give parents a chance to truly learn about the importance of education and really push that in their houses, and therefore give kids that extra drive that they need. Obviously this wouldn't be something that would come for free or very easily done, or will be very easily done, but I believe that it will be workable because there will already be facilities available. They can use school gyms or cafeterias or auditoriums that we already have available, and therefore costs would be low and they wouldn't be too dramatic. There are some disadvantages to the program. Of course, some people would have to give time that they might not really want to give, but that time would be very important to the families of the parents that will be attending. And another disadvantage would be that parents may need encouragement to attend. It might not be something that they see as being very important to their lives, but it is important, and I think that with the right kind of support and information given to the parents, they would attend this meeting in order to learn more. And as this meeting continued to grow, it would really have an impact on the lives of the students. Overall, I believe the advantages of helping with the lives of these students and with the lives of the whole community in general would overcome the disadvantages of the program, and if the program continued to grow slowly over time, more parents would become involved, and therefore the community would begin to be helped truly through this program. So working with parents on education is something that must be done if poverty is to be stopped. In conclusion, the majority of residents in Fabens are living below the poverty line, and it is something that won't be stopped without the help from everyone. First, poverty has affected Fabens for generations. Secondly, it is very harmful to not only those who are living through it, but also those that surround it. And lastly, there is a possible solution to the problem. Parents and other community members should try to find a way to make this change happen and to make this meeting happen by communicating with school principals or board members like the president of the school board, Orlando Flores. Poverty is something that is truly harmful for everyone that surrounds it. And with a town that is so weighed down by this fact, it is important that we all look at it as a problem to be solved together.
Okay.